Hello, Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Hope you're all safe, sound, and healthy. And today is the eighth Rosa all over the world, or in more than half parts of the world. And it is the seventh Rosa on this side of the world, on the subcontinent. It's going by very fast, but then people are acting as if this is the first time that the people are actually constantly remarking on two things, as if this is the first time that the Ramzan is passing really, really fast. And second, that this is probably the coolest Ramzan they've had in years. But the truth is, actually, we have been having pretty cool Ramzans for the past few years. Last year as well, we actually had Ramzan more or less along the same time of, yeah, around the same time of year last year. Last year, I think it was in May, and now it is in March. And even last year, it was very, very cold. The whole month was really cold, at least in this part of the world. And last year, too, it sped by really fast. To be honest, listen, it doesn't matter if it's Ramadan or any other month, because at the end of the day, we are at that point of in time, you can say, where time is speeding very, it's speeding by, it's really fast, okay? Where it is that time of which the Prophet had predicted, when years will seem like months, and months will seem like days, and days will seem like hours, and hours will seem like minutes, and minutes will seem like seconds. And that's exactly where we are. And we have been at this point of time for the past decade. Okay, at least as far as I've been observing, more than a decade, a little over 15 years. That's when the speed of time started. And now, obviously, it's just going to go faster and faster. So, yes, this Ramzan, in fact, strangely, despite the fact that this Ramzan is supposedly, I mean, it is passing by fast, but at the same time, it feels slower if I compare it to the last Ramzan. Somehow, the amount, the way it's speeding, one would expect to be already on the 10th day of Ramzan, isn't it? But look, we're just on the 7th day. It's just a week, or just a week has passed by. I remember the last Ramzan, literally, it looked as if, you're opening your eyes and 2 weeks have passed by. You're opening your eyes and now 13 days have passed by, or 15 days have passed by, or, 20 days have passed by. And it was like, that was really, really crazy fast. So although, as I said, people are finding this Ramzan crazy fast, to be honest, I'm finding it slow. I mean, it's fast, yes, but at the same time, I am aware of every single day. When you say something is crazy fast, it means you're actually not even aware of the day. And considering how every day is a Friday and every day is a Sunday for me, I mean, this is how fast time is going by for everybody. You wake up and it's Friday, you wake up and it's Sunday, and literally, look, today it is Saturday already, and you're like, wow, okay, Saturday, Ramzan started, and today is Saturday already. But then when you count the days, you're like, oh, it's just a week. It's weird, but that's how it's going on. The weather is lovely. The sun is out. Nights are pretty cold. We're still taking blankets here in Lahore, and obviously the northern areas are very cold. Punjab is cold. Karachi, the people of Karachi are saying that to them it seems that spring or even summer is like ready to come. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, good for them, I guess, because over here it's still very cold. I mean, imagine that we're in Lahore and I mean, you go out in the sun and you're like, oh, it's warm. In fact, it's a bit hot, so it's okay. But then the because of the rains, because of the constant rains, the weekly rains, because of that, the houses are still cold because the walls are still cold. And that is why at night the temperature falls. Yes, early in the morning and at night the temperature falls, and it's pretty cold. Yes, as I said, many of us in certain parts of Punjab, we're still taking our blankets on. Imagine, the fans are not on, let's put it this way. In most parts, the fans are still not on. I think that should give you a pretty good idea of what the weather is like right now. I mean, even now it's 29 degrees. It's mostly sunny, but it's 29 degrees. So it's pretty good. The fact that even the people in the Middle East are enjoying a very, very cool Ramzan, they're all saying that this is also the coolest Ramzan they've had. And they also seem to say that, oh, we've had it after, even the people in Europe, oh, we've had it after a very long time. But I think people are forgetting that last year we had a pretty cool Ramzan too. Yes, because it was literally along this same time of the year. Now, the one thing that I have been remarking on, as you know, for the past few Ramzans is the vibes. The vibes, we've lost the vibes of Ramzan. It's amazing that in the non Muslim countries, actually, you are now finding more and more Ramzan vibes. And here in Pakistan, I think we've lost it. And maybe people will beg to differ. But listen, if you look at, as I said, in so many ways. But yes, this year does feel a bit better. This year seems or feels a bit better. Or maybe it's because I've sort of cut myself off from everyone this month. I just wanted my mental peace, really. I wanted to work on my inner peace and my contentment. Basically, I just wanted to get away from all those toxic people. So I've sort of pretty much cut myself off. So maybe that's why, but no, I usually tend to cut myself off during Ramzan almost every year. But I've still felt the jarring impact of the loss of the Ramzan vibes almost every year. But this year, I think I've done a bit better. And let me put it this way, I guess for those of you who beg to differ, why I feel in Pakistan Ramzan is not the same anymore. As I said before, when Ramzan started, you literally could feel the vibes in the air. You could feel it in the air. Thanks to the current government, first of all, that is lost. Because when your government and your army are acting like Zionists, you don't feel like you're living in a Muslim country. Okay? When you've got Zionists in power who literally are munshriks and they are munafiqeen, so they're munshrikin and they're munafiqeen. They're hypocrites and they're basically munshriks. Munshriks are those who commit shirk in their ways and in their lifestyle and in their beliefs. And yes, you would consider them munshrik 100% by the way they're behaving. This is Ramzan. This is a sacred month. But as always, they've increased the prices. As I said a million times, what is the point of fasting? What is the point of Ramzan if you don't even understand the meaning behind it? The whole point of fasting, of starving yourself, is to realize the pain and the suffering of those who cannot afford to eat 3 times a day like you. Okay? It is to focus on priorities. It is to understand what's right and what's wrong. It is to reset your lives, reset your habits, reset your characteristics, reset your personality if possible. Okay? But what do we see here? We see rampant, blatant shamelessness displayed by the illegal government. Okay, the same kind that they displayed in the last Ramzan and the same kind that they displayed in the Ramzan before that. And the fact that they're still kidnapping people, they're still torturing people, they're still going after their material political benefits, wants, and needs. The fact that they're not even remembering God, the fact that they're not even respecting the sacred month, I think that in itself says everything that needs to be said, right? The fact that they're not, it shows that they do not believe in God. And this is why they're munshriks, okay? And it shows that they do not believe in life after death. And it shows that they have sold their faith for material gains, right? These are people who are still grabbing onto material gain. And then, the manufacturers, the business people, the retailers, what are you doing? You're increasing prices in Ramzan throughout the Muslim world and now even in the non-Muslim world just to celebrate Ramzan. Keeping in mind the whole theme behind Ramzan. Everybody's slashed prices. There's Ramzan sales going on. But what's happening in Pakistan? The prices have risen. Again, do you think that God is going to accept your fasting? Do you actually think He's going to accept your charity and your fasting when you're actually letting more and more people starve during the month of Ramzan? And yes, you are letting them starve. Who cares that you're giving them ration, and who cares that you're giving them charity when you have literally blocked their access, their regular access to any and all items that they should have access to? I mean, look at the price of something that is as stupid as a packet of biscuits. Just look at the price of it. A pack in which you will get no more than 6 biscuits is worth 50 rupees, and a packet in which you will get about less than 30 biscuits, or maybe 30 if you're lucky, or 31, is almost 100 rupees. And these are stupid ass biscuits that nobody would even look at, really. But I mean, this is just to give you an idea that if a packet of biscuits is this much, how much would your other regular everyday items be? For example, if you want to go and get, if you were not making samosas at home, you want to go and buy them, how much is that going to cost you? How much is anything going to cost you if you go out to the markets? I have seen nothing but increment of prices every year, every Ramzan for the past decade. In fact, even more. In fact, in Pakistan, it's a ritual now. This is a ritual. Every year during Ramzan, prices increase. I think the only time people saw some sort of a relief was again during Imran Khan's time. Okay. And now people are realizing it. At that time, when people were being swayed by this current government, there was this small minority of people, and actually there were also those idiots, in the amongst the even educated class, who suddenly started getting swayed by these misinformations and by false narratives and false news. Obviously, the Pakistani media has been anti-state, because again, the Pakistani media is bought by whom? you know it's bought by the United States government in the name of US aid. you know Remember Obama's speech where he talked about how much he's invested in Pakistani media to gain more pro-American sentiments. Pro-American equals anti-state. Why? Because America's interests and our interests, let's face it, have not aligned for a long time. America's interests do not align with any other countries. You know, that's a fact. I don't care how politically you would like to say, I mean, try to bring your philosophies in, or how you will try to. I mean, all said and done, let's put all the debates, let's consider them all debated, let's consider them all argued, let's consider them all discussed, and we finally reach the conclusion that, especially according to the American establishment or the American CIA as well, our interests are not aligned. Any leader who thinks about the interests of his country is automatically considered an enemy to American interests. One would wonder why, isn't it? So here we are. Anyway, so now those people are crying. They're literally crying blood as they realize the loss of Imran Khan, as they realize the loss of his governance meant a huge loss. Obviously, Imran Khan is to blame too, as I've repeated it, said time and again. He made a lot of very, very stupid mistakes that landed him and us both in a huge problem. One of his biggest mistakes was not getting rid of the anti-state elements as crisply and sharply as he should have. He should have martial lawed the hell out of all of them. He should have hanged them all for treason. Because see, right now they are even more blatantly, they are literally committing treason. The army is committing treason, and your government's committing treason. Obviously, it committed treason the day it stepped on, it stepped onto their seats without our mandate. It stole our mandate. Okay, so I think seriously. Anyway, so that's one of the reasons why Ramzan is not Ramzan. Okay, second, the kidnapping, the torturing, the so-called terrorism. Yeah, so-called, because remember, this is something I said before the government even came. And I said now, as soon as they come, expect a lot of terrorism. They are the ones behind it. Your government, your army is behind this terrorism. Everything is always staged. Keep that in mind too. Okay, so even in the month of Ramzan, they're showing no rest, as you say. I mean, God says that He keeps the devil at bay, but listen, who needs the devil when you have human beings rampant and loose? Seriously. I don't think even the devil can compete with the devilry of the human beings. So that's why it's not Ramzan. And then, okay, let's move on. We've got economical crisis thanks to them. Everything is inflated. All the prices are inflated. Your basic food items are out of reach. Now, you retailers and everybody, especially manufacturers, I guess, you've increased the prices tenfold or twofold or fivefold. Who gives a crap what fold? The point is you've increased the prices. You've made things out of reach during Ramzan for people. It completely goes against it. It goes against the spirit of Ramzan. It goes against the whole point. You think your fasting is going to be accepted, your charity is going to be expected. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say. In fact, I'm not at all sorry. I'm rather glad to tell you that your fasting, your charity, is all out the window. It cannot compensate for your everyday, because this is an everyday thing that you're doing where you've increased the prices of your products. So this is like you're giving charity to what? A few people, of tens of people, hundreds of people, but you're depriving millions in the process. That cancels it all out. That cancels your charity out. It cancels your fasting out. You are sure to have a place up there in hell, thanks to the deprived people's curses. Okay, so again, where is the respect for Ramzan? Then we come to the media. As you know, it's been almost 15 years since I've stopped watching local media completely. And I stopped watching the news about from the time Imran Khan was deposed onwards, right? And so I'm completely, I've boycotted the local media. And why again? False narratives in news channels. They're not giving you news. They're literally being dictated to, and they're bribed, and they're given lands out of our money. Our tax money is going into bribing journalists and army personnel and bureaucrats and law enforcement personnel, and in fact anybody and everybody that comes their way, bribing them by giving them cars and lands, and God knows what else. Probably they'll start opening for them Swiss bank accounts, all using our money, all using the IMF funds as well. So here we are. These people are just, again, what are they? They have forgotten that they are Muslims. In fact, they are not Muslims in my book, because they are literally going against Islam. And again, in this month of Ramzan, they're still they're still following orders, or they're still being paid to give you false narratives, false news. They're creating an anti-state element, or should I say they're spreading the anti-state element. They're making the people of Pakistan uncomfortable. They're making the people of Pakistan angry. They're making the people of Pakistan depressed. So there you are. Do you honestly think that you are right in sync with the spirit of Ramadan? No, you're not. And then you go to the entertainment sector of the media. For the past decade or so, you are seeing an increase in disrespect for Ramzan. Yes, this is an all out disrespect. When you're doing Ramzan shows that have game shows that have one form or the other of gambling, in case you did not know, but lottery is gambling, okay? Spin the wheel is gambling, okay? These are all parts of gambling that are not even allowed in Islam. I don't care what kind of fatwas you try to bring out to say, oh no, these are just games, and these are no, those were also games. These are all games. Gambling is essentially a game. Drawing lots, that's lottery. Spinning the wheel, that's gambling. Okay, I don't care what you're trying to do or what you're not trying to do, but that is right out gambling. How can you have these kind of games in Ramzan shows? Number two, the kind of questions and answers that people, the Q&A that's going on, the guests that you're calling, and the kind of questions that, this is Ramzan. What is the whole point of Ramzan? Again, you've lost the purpose. Okay, then you have a lot of music. Again, since when was it okay to use a lot of music? There was a time when I really appreciated the fact that the media used to cut down on jingles, and they would only start jingles and or jingle ads, ads with music, after iftari. But now it's blaring throughout day and night. It's as if they don't care. And they're having these weird ass programs day and night. And even their so-called religious programs, it's more like they're making a mockery out of everything rather than sticking. Before, when they had these religious knowledge programs, they were serious. They called authentic certified scholars. They had proper engagement with them. They had proper question and answers going on. It was all about knowledge, all about sort of re-immersing yourself into what Ramzan is all about, the meaning behind it. Okay, which Quran's verse says this, what hadith says that. It was perfect. And the amount of decency that was observed in all these, because they were Ramzan specials. All these shows were Ramzan specials. And now you have these freakazoids moving around, doing the most weird-ass things, and these are special Ramzan shows and dramas and telefilms. And that's why, you see, 15 years ago, I had predicted this, that your channels are going downhill and you're going down the drain, you're going down the gutter, really. And I left the media before I could even properly enter it, because people were so obsessed with trying to steal other people's original work, and they wanted to put their names on it. Well, this is something that our media people have been doing for a long time. But I mean, the blatancy with which they were doing this, the shamelessness displayed, and also the lack of original plots, and also the way they wanted us to write their plots and to write their dramas. And I'm like, you know what, since you know the whole story and you know what you want, go and write it yourself, save some money. You don't need to hire writers. You especially don't need to hire me. Go and write it yourself. And then I started blocking calls from these people because you're rubbish. And even then, I was like, yeah, go down this path, and I'll see the utter destruction of your media. And we are seeing the utter destruction of media. I don't care how. Look, Pakistani dramas were always extremely popular in the subcontinent. They will continue to be extremely popular, but again, for how long? Why? Because, as I said, if you compare even today's dramas, which even internationally, all over the world, people are oohing and ahhing about how amazing Pakistani dramas are. Believe me, if you see the old dramas of the 80s and the 90s and even the early 2000s, you will hands down say that the new dramas are in fact utterly rubbish. You will agree then with all of us, that general consensus that we have here in Pakistan, that our dramas have gone down the drain. You will actually agree with us, because we have seen top-notch, high-quality dramas. And telefilms especially. Telefilms were that one outlet through which you let loose all your, creativity with that depth, that inner depth, that deep literature that coincided with, that was the perfect combination of literary work with creative work just slammed together. You had the best, most creative forms of writing done in telefilms, especially in times like Ramzan specials and Eid specials, and in any case, just generally even. And now they're the most rubbish-ass things that you can ever watch. And that is why, as I said, I don't even bother to watch. So again, this too adds to the fact that Ramzan is completely desecrated by the people of Pakistan. Now, another thing also Even though, as I said, in Islam, we do celebrate Ramzan, it's a cultural thing in most areas, especially the Middle East and all, and even in parts of Africa and everything, even in parts of Asia. Yes, go ahead, celebrate everything. But this new trend of where they're sort of, I feel that there is this trend coming on where they're trying to commercialize it a bit. Again, that goes against the spirit of Ramzan. You cannot commercialize Ramzan in any way. Fine, do all the Ramzan decors that you want, do whatever it is that you want. And I'm actually glad to say that most of the decors that they do, they try to show as to how they got them very cheap and how they were not, expensive, and how they can be reused over and over again. I like that idea. But I do fear that, like how Christmas became this huge commercial entity, you know, uh, we should not try to put again, because you will be contradicting the very spirit of Ramzan if you commercialize this month. I don't care if the West likes to commercialize anything and everything that comes their way, but you don't need to jump on that trend. That's all I'm saying. Okay. It's not, you want to decorate your homes in Ramzan, go ahead and decorate. As I said, this is a Middle Eastern thing, and in certain parts of Asia and Africa, yes, they do that. But in the subcontinent, we have never, as such, per se, decorated homes for Ramzan. We decorate usually for Eid. We do a lot of festivities in Eid. Ramzan festivities are done, but they're not done the way they're now people are suddenly deciding to do now. But as I said, you like it, you do you, but don't turn it into this trend. Don't turn it into this commercial asked trend, is all I'm saying. So again, another reason why I feel Ramzan is not Ramzan. Here we are. Imagine that everything that Ramzan is about, you're going against it. Tell me what about it can you say that, oh, we have Ramzan vibes? Seriously, before, when it used to be Ramzan, you literally felt it in the air. It was like, it's so weird. It's like the whole vibe used to change. Literally, the air, the very air used to change. There was just something. It was this weird sort of a sensation in the whole atmosphere. And you're like, yeah, this is Ramzan. And everybody felt it. And everybody worked hard, really hard. You could see people working hard to maintain that. When they would work hard to control their anger, they would work hard to be nice, they would work hard to be gracious, but now, listen, in a way, you can't blame people. We're all in that state where we are fed up because of the government, because of the deliberate shortages, because of the deliberate tension and stress that is given to us by the government. They have ruined our lives. They've ruined our lives on every scale. We have no jobs, we have no careers, we have no source of income left, no stability. We have no, our youth has no future. We ourselves have lost everything. What is the youth going to have? And we're in this constant state of anger and angst and frustration and helplessness. And yes, and despite all of that, we are trudging through Ramzan. So yes, kudos to everybody on that. I can actually understand it, that now people can't be bothered to work too hard to control their anger, for example, but still people are trying. I think this is, in a way, for those who are still trying despite all the frustration, all the depression, all the anger, all the helplessness, still trying, still trudging through. I think, yes, that is truly, truly trying to struggle to go through Ramzan. That is well within the spirit of Ramzan, yes. Doing your best when you're feeling your worst, you know. So, but generally, for those people who are causing this pain, who are causing this suffering, you know, the number of people causing this pain and causing this suffering has increased tenfold. And that, again, is what has just ruined the whole Ramzan for all of us. Seriously. Well, this is me signing out. Khuda Hafiz.